So we actually have to break down. Marco Rubio said recently that behind the scenes in the Republican Party with top leadership, JD Vance is the front runner for a presidential nomination with the hopes of replacing President Donald Trump. And so why is this really relevant? Because Marco Rubio's name has been mentioned. I'm sure we'll get more names as we get closer to the date, and we will see some competition within the Republican Party. Well, it's remarkable because JD Vance seems I don't want to say perfectly plump, but he seems perfectly content to be like a fresh loaf of bread. Anytime Donald Trump does something, JD Vance is just sitting there and he just looks exactly like MAGA and Donald Trump looked the day you elected them. Now, compare this to Marco Rubio, who has had to do the dirty work, the unnecessary dirty work that Donald Trump has ordered him to do as Secretary of State. And a great example of this is his Latin American tour. If you remember this was the beginning of the Trump presidency. And typically we think in our hemisphere, the United States changes the perception that, delayed industrial economies are primarily made up of like narco trafficking, narco terrorism, this kind of thing. And we saw the opposite. And this has resulted, again, in disastrous foreign policy that in 2025 into 2026, it appears to have led our country backwards. Notably, a bailout for Argentina. Was it a bailout for Argentina? One of those guys. Something that a lot of geopolitical analysts would have seen coming, not really clear how America or Americans understand the situation there. We've seen military strikes on alleged drug boats. And we've seen what appears to be an increase of cartel and civil violence in Mexico. We've seen these events that are really significant that could be a foreshadowing of things to come, and we share a lot of border with them. I didn't hear Donald Trump having a plan to change where the border is between the United States and Mexico. I don't know if that, is going to be something that we talk about in 2028. And so, yeah, this is really bad news for Republicans. If we want to connect this to like another event, I don't know if that's like appropriate. I don't think it is, but we're going to do it anyways. We can just look at the most recent elections. A Mamdani sweep with Sliwa getting 7% of the vote. A Republican candidate winning less than 10% of the vote is an embarrassment, and it's huge. It's a huge loss. In California, we saw less than 40% oppose a redistricting. So, it's not like every Republican showed up to vote. Another huge loss. And we saw a lot larger margins in other states like New Jersey, wherever else.